I had gone to the cinema with my friend Sirhat in the evening, and on the way back we were passing through the Alaka neighborhood, which was the shortest route to our house. For some reason, not a single light was on in the neighborhood. We started walking quickly. I had a different feeling inside me. When we got to the middle of the street, I heard a growl. At first I thought my mind was playing tricks on me, but later Sirhat told me that he heard the same sound. We were running now in a shadow past 10 meters away from us. I took my pocket knife out of my pocket and said, "Who are you?" Instead of an answer, I heard a low growl. Sirhat started to cry, of course, so did I. Thought of turning on the light of our cell phones, but for some reason both of our batteries were zero, which was impossible because our batteries had dropped while we were leaving the house and we hadn't even looked at our phones where we went. The shadow was approaching us, growling. At that moment a man appeared behind us and knocked the shadow in front of us to the ground with his gun. The man approached us and said, "What are you doing here?" Sirhat and I said, "We were going home at the same time." The man said, "You shouldn't be here because zombies are starting to take over the world from here." Sirhat and I said, "Zombies?" At the same time, the man said, "Yes, they came to this exact area from another galaxy tonight." Sirhat said, "I fainted at that moment. When I woke up it was morning and I was at home. When I went to the living room, the man and Sirhat were having a deep conversation. There were thousands of growls coming from outside. Later, I joined the conversation. The name of the man who saved us was Barak. When I asked about the current situation, the zombies were taking over 50 people in an hour on average. I asked Barak, "Can we turn the zombies back into humans without killing them?" He said, "Barak, it is possible, but most of the scientists have turned into zombies and it is impossible for us to meet with the surviving scientists because the zombies destroy all the electric towers." When I asked, "So are there zombies in other countries too? But is it just in our country?" He said, "In all countries." That evening we evaluated the food we had and took notes on a piece of paper. After writing everything down, we went out and started looking for a shopping mall. Luckily, there was one near our house. When we left the house, we saw an armored vehicle on the corner of the street. It turned out that the armored vehicle belonged to Barak. It was the first time I had ever been in an armored vehicle. The interior of the car was beautiful, and the best part was that there was an ammunition depot and hundreds of weapons inside. I said, "Brother, what are you?" Then Barak started telling us about his life. He used to be a major in the army and later retired because he was injured, but he was still participating in operations, so they gave him this vehicle. When we arrived at the shopping mall, we went into the market section and filled bags with everything we could find. This was the first time in my life that I had bought hundreds of things from the market. After looting the shopping mall, we came home and started trying to generate electricity. And we finally succeeded. When we turned on the TV, we realized that other survivors were generating electricity like us. We heard on the news that the survivors were being gathered and taken to shelters in certain places. In the next news, we heard that a large shelter had been built underground. This was good news, but we had no intention of going to that underground shelter, so we turned off the TV. Barak said, "What we need to do now is find something to turn the zombies back into humans without killing them." While Barak was having breakfast in the morning, he said, "How about we meet other people?" Sirhat and I said, "Okay," because we hadn't seen anyone other than ourselves for a long time. After having breakfast, we set off. The road was very quiet except for the zombies passing by. Finally, we came to a shelter and went inside. When we entered, there were two guards waiting for us at the door. Both of them said at the same time, "Who are you?" Barak said, "Army Commander, Major Barak." The guards at the door immediately said, "I am at your service, Commander." A cool smile spread across Sirhat and my faces. When we entered the shelter, hundreds of people were sitting on chairs doing some work. We passed that section and entered the manager's office and sat on a chair. Barak and the manager got into a conversation we couldn't understand. When they finished talking with the manager, we went back into the room where hundreds of people were and Barak started shouting, "Who among you is Mararsa?" A middle-aged man came to us and said, "Come on, it's me." Barak said, "We need you for our work," and got into a conversation we couldn't understand with that man. When they finished talking, we went out and got in the car. While we were in the car, Barak told us everything, That man was a scientist and they offered him to make a liquid to turn zombies back into humans, and the man accepted. Before taking the scientist home, we took him to a laboratory and, after getting the necessary materials from there, we set off towards home. Murat didn't talk to us much. He was mostly scribbling something in his notebook. When we got home, we completely emptied a room and put the laboratory equipment there. Then we left Murat alone, and he started doing his work in the room. Serhat and I went to the kitchen and started to prepare dinner. We had made a delicious roast for dinner. After eating dinner, we played OK to distract ourselves. After playing OK, Murat went about his business and we started talking about the situation we were in. I guess Serhat and I were lucky because someone like Burak found us and saved our lives. At around 5 in the morning, I woke up to Murat's shouts of joy. He came running to us and said, "I finally did it." We all got up excitedly and opened the window to try it. There were hundreds of zombies on the street. We chose one of them and shot the zombie we chose with the liquid launcher Murat made, and the zombie turned into a human. But there was a problem. Since zombies were everywhere, they were turning it back into a zombie. We had to find a solution for this. We immediately called the authorities and explained what had happened. We gave our address to the person we called, then they came to us an hour later. We showed them the liquid and told them that we had a plan to spread the liquid to all the zombies. Our plan was to spread this liquid by multiplying it with a few planes or helicopters. After the authorities listened to us, they called their managers and the manager accepted our plan. In total, a week later, everything was ready and the process started. A total of 6 planes and 6 helicopters were spreading the liquids. When the process was over, there was not a single zombie left around. Something came to my mind. Zombies that came to our world from other galaxies turned into humans. How did this happen? After a long research, we found zombies that came to our world then became humans. According to what they said, someone from the world turned them into zombies and sent them into space, then brought them back to the world on a certain date, so he was thinking of trying to take over the world. According to what they said, the name of the person who sent them into space was Farakakar. After another week of research, Farakakar was found and put in jail. That's how we saved the whole world.